I attended an IBEC meeting this morning, and the point was just put across that as the vaccine is being rolled out and based on its progress and the milestones, we should see reopening of this economic sector and to allow businesses get back on their feet. But in addition to that, I also want to raise the very important issue of cancer services. Our cancer services need to be urgently reopened, and they should be working in tandem with the restrictions. I know that Professor O'Reilly, who's an oncologist, has raised very serious concerns, and he says that for the next decade we're going to see a very high rate of deaths among cancer patients if we don't take urgent action. And I just appeal to you, Taoiseach, Tánaiste go Maleiscil, being from the medical profession, if you would please advocate for the reopening of cancer.
Thank you. Tánaiste to respond.
Thanks very much, deputies. On Tuesday we will give as much clarity as we can and as much hope as we can, but we'll also need to be honest. We're not out of the woods yet. I am hopeful about the summer, but the next couple of weeks are very worrying. The situation is deteriorating across Europe and appears to be deteriorating here as well. And we'll give people as much clarity as we can, but we've seen on so many occasions that this virus rips up our plans. And I don't want to give people assurances for 6 weeks' time that we then have to withdraw in 3 weeks' time. That's not fair either. In terms of the risk profile will change because of the vaccine, but only 10% of people have received a shot at this stage, and it hasn't changed the risk profile enough at this stage. We'd really need to be up around 40–50% of people having received one vaccine before you'd see that having a meaningful impact on the R number, and we're not there yet. On vaccine supply, I was at the EPP summit this morning, engaged with President von der Leyen on this. She's doing everything she can, and we're doing everything we can to speed up supply in the second quarter. It is going to speed up in the second quarter. She's confident that we'll have between 300 and 360 million doses in the European Union in the second quarter of the year. That's April, May, June. That's over 3 million doses, more than 1 million a month, coming to Ireland in the second quarter. On testing, as I mentioned earlier, we're now extending PCR testing on demand to 5 parts of the country where there is a high incidence, in Dublin and in Tullamore. You don't need to go to your GP, you can just drop in for a test. And we're also going to see greater use of antigen testing, particularly in outbreaks and in workplaces. I should say we're not ready yet to treat different counties differently. Unfortunately, there is no county in Ireland at the moment where the incidence is low enough. Even where it's low, it's still 5, 10, 20 times what it was last summer. And finally, just in relation to cancer services, and it is Daffodil Day tomorrow, and I want to thank Deputy Nolan for raising the issue of cancer services, and I fully agree with her. We'll do everything we can to get as many cancer services back up and running as soon as is possible, because I do fear secondary deaths as a consequence of this pandemic. Not people dying with COVID, but people dying from other conditions because they didn't get the care they needed during the pandemic.